what indicators help analyze the broad market? I know we just went through the MACD. I know that you've got your custom, uh, I don't know if we've ever come up with a name for it, but your custom arrows indicator.
Mhm.
There are other things that one should be looking at to help analyze the overall broad market?
Yeah, well, so the scoop is that, and I got these questions because, gosh, it would be so nice, wouldn't it, if there was just one indicator that told us when things were at their highest and when things were at their lowest. It would be just so nice if there was some sort of magic indicator. Who cares how it's calculated, but it was just one that would tell us tops and bottoms that we could trade low, buy low, sell high, or sell high and buy back low, and it would always work. And if that existed, guess what? We'd see a lot more traders and investors out there, and everybody would be rich. Now, we know that that's not the case. We know that in the broad markets and in the markets, the majority of money flows to those market movers. And that's because they're just really good at this game versus some of the newbies, right? And a lot of newbies, if they don't have the staying power and they also don't have the guidance to learn how to do this right from somebody who's successful and who can teach them, then they often find that they give money over to those people who are more experienced than them, right? And so the scoop is it's not as easy as one indicator out there. Now we have our confirming indicator that we give people for free. It's nothing more than a lag, and I just updated the wrong one. It's nothing more than like lagging indicator identifier. For some reason, I can't even click on the one that I'm trying to get on. Let me get rid of some of my drawings here and I'll click on this. All this is a confirming indicator. It's a lagging indicator. And most indicators that identify reversals with any sort of accuracy are based on a lagging indicator versus a leading indicator. Leading indicators kind of are very speculative. They're based on the premise that things can become overbought and oversold. Only problem with that is often, that threshold for being overbought is a fluid threshold. So where it was overbought 2 weeks ago doesn't necessarily mean it's overbought now. Same with being oversold. So leading indicators haven't proven to be successful top and bottom finders, or reliable top and bottom finders in the math world, right? uh, Combining a leading indicator and a lagging indicator, there's some promise there, and a lot of swing traders use that combination. What we've got in our little free indicator is just simple lagging indicators that you can use to identify tops and bottoms, either based on moving average crossings or on MACD crossings. And we give you the flexibility to decide which price is used in the calculation. So if you just want to use the basic close price, you can. If you want to include some historical volatility, you can use the high low close divided by 3, or even the open high low close divided by 4. I have been playing around a lot with the volume weighted average price to throw some volume calculations in there. And you can set all your different parameters on those lagging indicators. Plus, we've got our one bar reversal filter in there. And we're always adding functionality. We're playing around with functionality for this free indicator to make it even more configurable. The answer is, right, a lot of people have brought up to me that, hey, when you look at the broad market, you use the 3 and 5 day moving average, exponential moving average crossing with your one bar filter. But it seems like a lot of times when you're trading, and I'll show you, I've actually got my indicator added twice. So if I switch off the one that I use for looking at the broad market and I switch on the one that I use for actually looking for trading signals, you can see that this is a MACD instead of a moving average crossing. It's based on volume weighted average price instead of closing prices. And these are the parameters given to us by the mathematicians behind the MACD. This is what we call the fast MACD settings. And I don't turn on my filter in this case because I want my indicator to give me the fastest responses possible. And a lot of times with a filter, you have to let a day or two or a bar or two go by before the filter is satisfied. So I turn it off, right? And so that gives me a little bit more responsive indicator for identified tops and bottoms so I can get into my trades faster or slower. How do I decide what settings for my different indicators? That's the whole premise behind back testing, right? Back testing allows us to try these different combinations on a pattern, the bars that are already set where we can actually see, thanks to hindsight, what was a top and what was a bottom. And we can see where the indicator actually identified tops and bottoms, where it missed, and where it falsely identified tops and bottoms. And we can fit, the indicator, we can try out the indicators on past data to see which one is the best fit. And then we can use that indicator moving forward, knowing that once we identify something that says the pattern is now broken, that we would stop using it. That's one of the key things that people do wrong, is they don't know when their pattern has stopped. But that's how I decide which confirming indicator I'm going to use for my trade signals versus which ones I'm using for my broad market. For my market, it tends to be slower, like the 3 and 5 EMA crossing. For my trading, it tends to be faster. I like to use the fast MACD. I think that that's a really good one. I like to use the shaken oscillator. I like to use trend directions, things like that. So that kind of gives you an idea. There's not one answer for every single pattern you identify. You have to pattern fit. If it was super duper easy to be a successful trader, I'm telling you, everybody would do it, right? So you have to wrap your mind about it and stop struggling and stop, knocking on people's doors and stop chasing shiny objects, believing that there's one simple answer that you can apply to everything. And instead, resolve yourself to embrace your mind, to wrap your mind around the topic and just get good at it, right? Just get good at pattern fitting and learning which indicator works with which symbol and go forth and conquer.